At the risk of starting another 100-year war, who here is Team Kataang and who is Team Zutara?
Kataang.
Okay.
Kataang. Also
Wholeheartedly.
Kataang.
Kang.
Okay, Zutara, because when I was younger, I freaking love Zutara, but now being an adult and being healthy and whatever, I love Kataang and I see everything great about it, but Zutara.
So I have to ask Dominique, was it just these are both pretty characters that you just wanted to see be cute together? Or like, what was your drive behind them?
No. It doesn't help that they're both attractive, but Katara and Aang are soulmates, right? There's no doubt about it. But if you're aware of the phrase twin flame, I think Zuko and Katara were each other's twin flames, and they were so necessary for each other. But when I was younger, I loved the passion. I'm like, oh my god, fire, water, steamy, whatever. I loved all of it. But now being older, I see how it could have been a little toxic. It couldn't have gone all the way. It couldn't have been like long lasting. So I like them better as friends now that I'm older. But I love Zutara so much.
I have to admit, Prince Zuko, I really find you attractive.
You don't have to make fun of me.
But I mean it. I've had eyes for you since the day you first captured me.
At the risk of undermining my own argument, because I'm a firm Kataang supporter, I will say that I think, based on Zuko's relationship with Mai, he probably would have been a good boyfriend.
Yeah, he's good. He genuinely cares.
Yeah.
So what really got me was in the Crystal Catacombs, Katara was the only person besides Mai, but that we see in the end. But the first person that we see that Zuko lets touch his scar. When I saw that, I was just like, oh my God. So just little things like that. When I was younger, I saw and I was just like, oh my god, yes. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I love Katara and Aang, and it's healthy and it's beautiful, whatever.
So I like the twin flame conversation goes with like Zuko and Katara. They can be like that platonic soulmate that makes each other better, but that doesn't mean that they gotta be shipped, because we don't want trauma bond just because they have mommy issues. Just because they have mommy and daddy issues does not mean that they need to be shipped together.
They do that?
I said it, I mean it, period.
But what do you care? You're the Fire Lord's son. Spreading war and violence and hatred is in your blood.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't? How dare you? You have no idea what this war has put me through. Me personally. The Fire Nation took my mother away from me.
I'm sorry. That's something we have in common.
Nick, I wanna hear from you on this. Let me show you the results of the poll, and then I wanna hear your take on the other side here. So the question of Team Kataang and Team Zutara. So let me preface it with this: 204,000 people voted in this poll. So we have a big sample size, right? But after surveying the audience,
Zutara.
Zutara all the way,
great.
77%. Nick, what's your reaction to seeing these numbers here?
My hot take on Zutara is I'm like, oh yeah, I see it. They have some scenes together. They have a relationship. They have chemistry. Let's go over like what happens. There's that time when Zuko tied her up against her will and took her mother's necklace. There's that time where Katara almost used the spirit water that was later used to IDK save the world from abomination. And then there was the time they went on that fun little Zuko field trip where Katara committed just a little bit of war crimes and used bloodbending on some people, something she swore she'd never do. I'm all for Katara's personal growth, and because of that, I think Zuko is toxic.
But I will also say, like, I don't think that Zuko is wholly toxic. There's some toxic things in there, but childhood and mommy and daddy issues. And I'm not saying that Katara is also is also not toxic, because there's some toxicity in there also because of mommy and daddy issues, because we watch the show, but together makes it a toxic thing.
I think it is disrespectful to call Zuko toxic when we fully met Jet.
Oh God.
She dodged a metaphorical bullet.
She did.
That boy is toxic.
Toxic, honey. Oh.
So nobody's Team Jet.
No.
Nobody's Team Jet here, is what I'm getting.
He's a cute character.
Nick is too silent. I think he's Team Jet.
Nick, are you Team Jet because you want to be with Jet? Or are you Team Jet because Katara and Jet to be together? Because selfishly, my original like motive for being Kataang was that I wanted to be with Zuko. It was like, Katara can't have it.
Okay, Nick, tell us about this jet situation. Tell us about this jet situation you're going through.
You know how we can look back and be like, Zuko and Katara, that's a trauma bond. They shouldn't, blah, 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 blah. Maybe some of us have a trauma bond with Jet because he came into our lives at just the right peak of adolescence, and maybe that one shot of Katara being held by Jet while the rope went up and the roses were flying everywhere. You all know the one. Maybe that had an impact.
Yeah, we know.
Purely hypothetically. Maybe if I went on a life-changing adventure with Jet, I would cross some moral boundaries because I was blinded by love. You never know.
You never know.
We could have freed this valley. Who would be free? Everyone would be dead. You traitor! No, Jet. You became the traitor when you stopped protecting innocent people. Katara, please, help me.
Goodbye, Jet.
Yip yip.
If we take a step back from the specific relationships, maybe just more broadly, how does the show, let's maybe focus on Avatar now. Korra's kind of a whole separate animal we'll get into. But how does Avatar even approach romantic relationships? You know, I mean, there's sort of an argument to be made for the Kataang is a slow building relationship that starts as a friendship, and brick by brick they build this sort of romance at the end. But then it sounds pretty clear like we, some of us have been made a little flustered by some of the other boys on this show. So what type of relationships does the show create for us, and why do they work or don't work?
The thing that I like about the relationships in Avatar as a whole, mainly to talk about the original series, not the sequel, is the fact that they show us a wide degree and variety of relationships. Like, because I know we're talking specifically about romantic, but it's kind of important to like flesh everything out. Because we're seeing a lot of good things that are both healthy and unhealthy about romantic relationships, healthy and unhealthy about platonic friendships, healthy and unhealthy about familial relationships. But they always seem to just happen and be as they are. But being as they are is what works. The first relationship we see is Sokka and Katara. A standard big brother, little sister type relationship. Sokka's like, I don't understand why you gotta do X, Y, and Z. And Katara's like, well, first of all, your socks fit completely. Which in my case, as an older brother, my sisters and I were watching that scene just like, okay, we've been here. That's fine. That's cool.
I've been read, yeah.
You didn't have to necessarily do that. But like, you see their relationship is very sincere and it's genuine. Then you see the friendship that Aang builds with Sokka and with Katara and eventually with Zuko and with Toph, and how they met them where they were, and how their dynamics in terms of their individual remained the same, but they were able to meet right there in the middle and it still be just as genuine. Then you get your romantic relationships of either Sokka and Suki, which just happened, and it was pure and it was beautiful and it was lovely and she's awesome and she makes him better. Or you see Zuko and Mai, kind of just happened. They're good for each other in their own creepy, dark little way, and it works, and it's beautiful, and it's happy. And then you see Katara and Aang, literally, like, so my main thing for being so very Kataang is that I'm one of those people who has that small little bit of hope and faith and that love and first sight type thing, and that it will just work and just do stuff. And Aang and Katara, they kind of went through their ups and their downs, their woof and their woof. But Aang opened his eyes up for the first time in the ice cream and said,
That's it.
That's it. That's it. And he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. Wu confirmed it. Roku confirmed it. Sokka High-Key confirmed it, like on the low-key in that same episode on Wu. So kind of bring it all back. I love how all the relationships really just happen as they are, or the people where they are, and they grow together without sacrificing who they are at the same time.
I think the beautiful thing about Avatar is that they don't shy away from real relationships, whereas certain shows, they'll graze over the problems, but Avatar fleshes out all the gray areas. Nothing is black and white. We have brother and sister dynamics, but we have one that is like a brother and sister dynamic, Sokka and Katara, and one that could be a little different, Azula and Zuko. So it's like they have so many parallels between so many relationships. They show all of the gray areas. They don't shy away from showing the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, you know? So it's just like, you have so many dynamics to work with that happen in real life.
I'm gonna tell you something crazy. I never told anyone this before. But honestly, I'm not sure I can remember what my mother looked like. It really seems like my whole life, Katara's been the one looking out for me. She's always been the one that's there. And now, when I try to remember my mom, Katara's is the only face I can picture.
The truth is, sometimes Katara does act motherly, but that's not always a bad thing. She's compassionate and kind, and she actually cares about me. You know, the real me. That's more than my own mom. Don't ever tell her I said any of this.
Hey, my lips are sealed.
Well, and Katie, I saw your reaction when Demaria sort of referenced Zuko and Mai relationship. As someone who was secretly hoping that you could kind of get Zuko for yourself, what was that relationship? How did you view that one?
So we don't actually meet Mai until season 2, right? But she's kind of alluded to, or like we meet her in memory. But when I saw Zuko and Mai together, I was like, no, I have no business being in this relationship. They are meant for each other. They are made for each other. Which I think is so charming to see how they each kind of knew each other through childhood. And I would disagree with you, actually. I think that Mai and Zuko's relationship starts before he gets his scar. In my opinion, they are already dating prior to him getting banished, or they already have some sort of emotional tie to each other prior to him leaving.
Loyal.
Exactly.
And she stayed and she waited.
I just gotta be patient with him. He has to figure a few things out, and then he'll be ready for me.
She knew her worth and said, that's it.
That's right.
I'll wait.
And think about it, like, he got his scar, and she probably did not see him during that recovery, because we see that Zuko kind of got on that ship to be banished pretty quickly. There was no recovery time. So when she sees him again after 3 years, this is probably her first time seeing a scar. She doesn't even flinch, guys. That's true love. She loves that boy. Haircut and all.
That's true. So, Nick, I wanna go to you on this one. Zuko in relationships in general. You know, I think we see him with Mai, and we kind of get a sense of Zuko having romantic feelings. And then, obviously, there's Zutara, you know, dreams. But what about Zuko in general is so fascinating, and his ability to have relationships?
I don't know. It's something about his redemption arc, largely, I think. Because, you know, you see the show and you're like, that's the bad guy. And especially, depending on when you watch the show, you're like, I know what a bad guy is. He's bad. He has a ponytail. He's bad. And then the show's like, what if he's not a bad guy? And you're like, haha, what a fun trick. I know what this is. The bad guy makes you think he's not bad, and then he's bad. Which Zuko does a couple times. And then, about a season later, Zuko's like, okay, just kidding. I'm good. I'm not good at being good. But I'm gonna try to be good, and I'm gonna try to be accountable for my past actions, and try to, like, do things like that. And you're like, whoa. This is not the bad guy I signed up for. I have all of these ships with all of the good guys, and the bad guys are supposed to lose. What do I do now that Zuko's over here? Oh, no.
I think that brings up such an interesting point, Nick. Like, we know that Zuko is the bad guy, but a lot of us still root for him, even though we know he's the bad guy. Like, in the fight between Zhao and Zuko in book 1, we're still like rooting for Zuko. So it's like, how do they do that? Like,
fire,
so it's just like
literally fire, but literally, yeah. Keep going.
Thank you. I feel like we as the audience subconsciously know and want Zuko to be good because we see him and we have hope for him and we root for him, and mainly just because of the influence of Iroh, everything that he's gone through, and we know that there's something deeper to him than what's just on the surface level of just being a villain.
Yeah.
But like, we see the good in him even in the early beginning. And then throughout the show, we see the good getting bigger and larger. Even though he's not that great at being good, he's trying his hardest. I mean, we can't really blame him because of his past. So we're always rooting for Zuko, I feel like.
Whoa there. You lost me at Zuko.
I know how you must feel about my nephew. But believe me when I tell you there is good inside him.
Good inside him isn't enough. Why don't you come back when it's outside him too, okay?
The other magic ingredient in Zuko's arc is that there's a significant difference between ponytail Zuko and hot wispy hair Zuko. And I think Zuko's hair journey is ultimately what pushed me over the edge. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like there's a moment in season 3 around when he leaves them and he like takes out his little like hair crown thing and his hair just goes like, and you're like, oh, that's my friend.
Oh,
That's my friend, and he's gonna stop the downfall of man. And he's cute.
Avatar meme culture really likes showing the characters with the hair down. Sokka with his hair down. You get the Katara.
Oh
with the hair
my
down.
God, Sokka with his hair down?
You guys are laughing, but like in like a month, you're gonna see the Avatar YouTube channel post 10 hottest characters in Avatar, and it's just gonna be a list, and we're gonna watch it down.
Yeah.
Furious debate.
And each one of those lists is going to have to specify which version of those characters. Is it long hair Zahir? Is it ponytail?
Yes, exactly.
Zuko?
Hair up, hair down, hot or not.
Oops. Wrong tent.
Sorry. Do you need to talk to Sokka too?
Nope. Not me.
Well, hello. Zuko, yes. Why would I be expecting anyone different? So what's on your mind?
We would be remiss to not speak about incompatible relationships. We obviously talk about why we think some work and why we wish some might have worked. And we also learn to stay away from boys who chew things and Jet in general. Let's take a look at this other poll that we put on the channel that has 226,000 votes. And it is, which ship do you think is the most incompatible? Mang, which is Aang and Mai.
Oh my God.
Jushi, which is Kyoshi and Judy. Grozai, which is Ozai and Gran Gran. Honko, which is Zuko and his honor. And then Mako and anyone.
Okay, well, first of all, Honko is thrown out because Zuko definitely restored his honor.
Those are very
It's canon.
compatible.
And the honor of his nation.
Wow.
Canon.
So, those are very compatible.
Mako and anyone is, I mean, where's the lie? I mean, I don't know.
What lovely young women. Mako, why aren't you dating any nice girls like them?
First of all, Mako was also in his late teens, though, trying to figure out a lot of different things. I'm not saying he was right. I'm just saying I understand.
Grozai is gross.
I'm just saying I understand it.
Just saying that boy is married to his work, not another person.
Even if he is married to his work, he's high-key cheating on his work, being an abusive father.
Oh.
So...
Oh.
I said it.
There it is.
I said it.
I think Grozai is gross. Like, Grozai, Ozai, and Gran Gran, disgusting.
Oh, Gran Gran's too good.
I think Aang and Mai could be a really good relationship. Just not like platonic, like friendship relationship. I think that'll be good.
It's really interesting here because I'm going to show you the results of this poll. So once again, 226,000 people voted on this. The most incompatible pairing of these is Aang and Mai. Almost half of the voters.
No! How did Mako and anyone come so last?
So Katie, what do you think here?
I would suggest that all the people who said that Aang and Mai would not be a good, compatibility thing, go read the comic books. They're buddies for a little bit. And they're very kind of sweet with each other. So they're buddies. So
Yeah,
I don't think
they're good buddies.
Yeah. I would not say that they are the most incompatibles because I think they bring out different things in each other that the other characters don't.
Katie, I want to say that just because, like, we see Mai and Ty Lee, they're like super duper close, and like Ty Lee's super bubbly and girly, and Aang is super jokester. Like, Mai likes bubbly, fun people.
Yeah. She does.
Like, just because she's like pretty mellow doesn't mean anything. I just think she just likes bubbly, fun people, and Aang is fun. I think they're good friends, and I've read it in the comics. Like, they're really cool with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just me? Or was that guy kind of cute?
Mai also has like a really good sense of humor. Remember when her and Zuko were like just vibing at the palace and Zuko was like,
Yes.
I have unlimited imperialist power, what do you want? And she's like, a big fruit tart with roses on it. Like, Aang would be all about that. Aang would be like, I'll bake you a fruit tart. Also, let's talk smack about Zuko. Let's talk about our exes.
Yeah.
Let's go off. I would watch that.
This is the part of this discussion where we have our Sozin's comment of the day, which is where we take a comment from our YouTube videos and we share it and we talk about it. It's very relevant to what we're just talking about here, and also kind of, I don't want to say offends, but affects me personally. The comment is from Nick Pells, who said, whoever runs this channel is the only person who has ever shipped Gran Gran and Ozai, and they keep pushing it in our faces. And I will say, yes, we are. It's true. Guys, listen, they are later in life, but they deserve love too.
Kyle.
So why Gran Gran and Ozai? Why is that not a thing? Why not Grozai?
I have two questions. Who hurt you, and what can I do to stop you?
Starting to get a little worried about you.
You've been awake too long.
And you're acting downright weird.
I want to say that there's probably something, obviously, in Ozai's story. The show can't show every single story, But I've also like hypothesized about like Ozai and his upbringing, and like like how Ozai's extremely hard on Zuko, saying like you were lucky to be born, and Zuko feels like the incessant need to always prove himself. I think Ozai may have gone through the same thing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like Iroh has always been looked at as the greater son. He was the firstborn, very powerful firebender. All of these things going for him. Probably Azula's favorite. Ozai didn't feel the love, so he had to prove himself and work hard. And I'm not an Ozai, like I hate that. I'm just trying to think about him a little bit. But like Ozai probably had to like quietly work hard, study. He's a smart guy. He's a powerful firebender, and then once Iroh had a weakness, that was his time to prove himself and say, "Father, it's me, not him." So he was probably like, the evil was probably like brewing for a while. And obviously we don't know what started it, but it probably came from the same need that Zuko had to always prove himself and to prove himself worthy of the throne. That's probably where Ozai's evil could have came in.
Katie, what do you think here?
I don't think deep down Ozai is good. I think it was kind of a nature. He was already inclined to that kind of darker side. And then with the nurture or lack of nurture on top of that, just bringing it all out.
He's a sociopath, and then on top of that, he was abandoned. Probably.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Didn't help.
All right, this is Flamio Hotman, where we're going to go around the room and give our hottest takes on Avatar right now. I encourage everyone watching this to get in the comments down below and argue with us about these, because these are just hot takes that are meant to be a little, well, we'll find out. Nick, I want to start with you on this one. Why don't you give us one of your Flamio Hotman take of today?
Ooh, baby. Okay, much to get into, but I'm going to keep it to 3 words. Hama deserved better.
Interesting.
She did. She honestly did. Before she got crazy, but honestly, she deserved better.
Yeah, she did. 100%.
The only reason why she got crazy is because of the fact that she got kidnapped from her home and then placed in prison, and they had to sit there for a little while at the subjugation and the will of a people who did not care about her. She definitely deserved better.
But,
And then she got freedom, did everything she did, which still bad, obviously, anti-bloodbending in this house, but...
Let's not go there.
She ends up trapped again by these people that hate her, and it's so sad and tragic. Deserved better. Maybe therapy.
She deserved it the second time. She didn't deserve it the first time. She deserved it the second time.
I think she deserved it the second time. I wish the Fire Nation had resources for Hama.
Resources.
That's bold of you to assume that they ever would.
I mean, it's more so they probably do have the resources. They just don't care about all of the people, especially those outside their own borders.
All right, I can't wait to see how the comment section handles that one. But Katie, why don't we go to you next for your Flamio Hotman?
Well, we were talking about characters and their attractiveness level depending on where their hair was. Sokka's hair looks better up. His down hair is not good.
Oh!
That is a hot take.
Yeah, I don't think it looks good.
All right, everyone post your Sokka thirst traps in the comments.
Come after me, I can take it.
You know what? I'm not picky. I can get Sokka both ways. Hair down, hair up. Whatever.
Okay, Nick, you're giving us an option here.
Katie made her opinions known, and I can take a note, so...
No!
All right, I love that one. Dominique, let's go to you next on your Flamio Hotman, because I know Damaris is going to try to jaw drop us at the end here, so we'll warm up.
Obviously, I love the writing in Avatar. Perfect, amazing. I don't want anything to change. The villains in Legend of Korra were top tier villains.
They were
top tier.
They were.
You can hate Korra all you want, but you cannot say anything. Their ideologies made sense. They just took it a little too far. Like, I mean, Amon wanted equality. Unalaq wanted us to be in harmony with the spirits. Zahir, anarchy. But, he didn't want the ruling people to have such a say. Come on, look at the world right now.
He was against the 1%.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people out there like that. I get it. And Kuvira wanted order and stability. So, I mean, their ideologies, they make sense, and they're great villains, perfectly written. I loved them all.
We'll do a villain episode at some point, because I think there's a lot to explore with all the villains.
Yes.
I think there's a very substantial discussion about when Iroh stopped being a villain, because he definitively had to have been. So, another time.
We gotta get into it.
I have opinions.
All right, Demarius, bring us home with your Flamio Hotman.
I'm gonna step away from the whole Sokka and Toph thing, and go into talk about Azula really quickly. Because I think it was either Dominique or Katie who made the mention about how we can't blame Zuko for the person that he is because of his past. My hot take is that we can totally blame Azula for that, though, and she deserves no redemption arc. Because like Zuko, she grew up in a similar environment and she made her choices. Even after seeing everything that had happened to everybody else, she made her choices and she rolled along with it. Period.
I agree. However, it took Zuko getting banished to get to where he was. If it wasn't him getting banished and it was in his eyes it was the worst thing ever at that time, he would have never experienced other cultures. He would have never got out. Azula, she couldn't really get out until it was time to hunt Zuko and see other people. But she never really immersed herself the same way Zuko did.
Why couldn't she have, though?
Yeah, she didn't care to. She didn't want to. She was already the best.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly. That's why I agree as well.
Yeah, Nick, what's your opinion here on Azula and whether she's even deserving of a redemption arc? Because that's an interesting one.
Well, it's interesting because we're talking about Azula didn't want to go out and experience other cultures, but Zuko didn't either. Zuko at no point was like, I can't wait to go on a road trip across the world to find the Avatar. But
yeah, he was forced.
He was forced. I'm just wondering if you put in the exact same circumstances, but for some reason Azula is the one who spoke out of turn, Agni Kai gets banished, goes on this journey. I think Zuko and Azula are such fundamentally different people that I don't what would an Azula alone episode arc look like? I don't think she would have anywhere near that journey. I can't imagine. I think moving the needle ever so slightly, she'd get a little better, but I don't know.
I feel like people want to completely write off Azula, but I don't think she's completely devoid of empathy at all. I mean, we see little moments of empathy, like you said, when she was telling Zuko, hey, stop seeing Uncle Iroh, and she kind of was just looking out for him a little bit, and then we see it when she apologizes to Ty Lee for being mean. We see little pockets of empathy. So I mean, I don't know if she's completely a sociopath, because I definitely know she feels a lot of emotions. So, I mean, I think she's worthy of a redemption arc.
I think she would be the first topic of conversation in our villains episode, which we will eventually do, because she might be the most interesting one to me. But I think that is going to have to be a wrap on our relationship discussion on ships in the Avatar world. This was so fun, everyone. Thank you for being here and sharing your opinions. And now I'm going to go look at photos of everyone with their hair down, just because I need to know now for my own knowledge.
Sokka was better with the hair up.
All right, I don't know if we're going to get to the bottom of any of these relationship questions, but one thing we like to do here to end each show is to give you a bit of Uncle Iroh's wisdom to take with you for the week in a Leave from the Vine segment. So our Iroh quote that we'll leave you with today is, "It is important to draw wisdom from many different places. If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale." So I want to thank Demarius, Dominique, Nick, Katie. This was a fantastic discussion. Everyone, drop comments, blow them up. I want to see the discussion. We're going to probably talk about what you comment next time. And that was Four Nations Forum. We'll see you next time.